Well, not quite the weather forecast cleary out here that you guys were, well, looking for, of course. Nope, isn't that right now, guys? Well, hello guys, this is me, Christian, again. And for today's video, well, I'm here to update you guys on what we clearly have for the updated version of the weather. So as you can see right now, yeah, because of the major wind, most of which have blown off, or they are still on, but a lot of these leaves I see up here had shrunk a lot. Mostly because of the wind blowing like a certain direction or whatever. But either or, yep, this is what we're dealing with now. Still a few good looking big tall leaves up of here. They're not coming down, but they're definitely not the best anymore. But if you look here, literally there's no snow on the ground for most parts of the area. That spot over there is still patchy good green. It's some other places are green, but yep, you're not having some of that beautiful green on every lawns anymore, you should notice. Seriously now. Yeah, because it's that time again. A little bit of that beautiful moss, and the rain did kick in. So it did soak up parts of the places, of course. So what I'm basically seeing here, of course, guys, wet roads, also followed by wet little, you-know-it's, also grass, but most of which is dried up, and there's a tiny spot of snow. You'll still see, yeah, so I guess what I'm truly here to inform you guys is happy first day of winter again. It's that time, yep. So we have now approached away from autumn, and now we are apparently on to the first day of winter. And it's not even looking so much like it right now. Like, seriously, do you see much snow on the ground? Like, I wouldn't say there's no snow on the ground. There's definitely, yeah, a lot. Oh, wow, look at that. Really green here. That's what it will look. This is what it's going to look like again when, don't worry, this is exactly what it's going to look like 100% again by the time spring for sure happens. But until then, yeah, some leaves are on the ground, most of which has dried up for the winter. And see, there's kind of a little bit of snow on your first day of winter, aka, and what I mean by that is that's the snow that hasn't fully melted away from the, apparently I've learned that, I think we had a Hurricane Melissa is what they called it, but I was wrong. Well, they choose by the alphabetical order, so that kind of reasonably makes sense in this case, guys. So yeah, this is an updated news of how it's like. No snow, or barely much snow, I should say, left. Little bit over there, but yes, anyways. Some green, and it will continue to dry up along the process, I gotta say, guys. Yeah, this time I'm pretty sure I'm gonna make a shorter video than I did the other few times I was out here during this winter occasion. Although I can't actually be sure because it's probably gonna end up being long again. So it's the same idea of that tree over there. Almost out of leaves, or more so they're staying, but they're shrunk now. And as of over here, now they finally did some work. Notice how they were like plumped, like as in they were like very, very big before. Big looking of the leaves. Now they shrunk a bit. So now it's kind of looking like this specific kind of tree over here, all the way through the top to the bottom. Yeah, you guessed it. Certainly, it's beginning to look like the others. Not so good anymore, if you ask me. Little bit of patchy snow, yeepers. So first day of winter, eh? And not much snow to celebrate. I just hope coming in 4 days from now, 4 days until Christmas. Ain't that right, guys? Who's all excited for Christmas? With that red, green, and most of all white little jolliest surprise. Minty candy canes and all. Yeah, whoever's excited, let me know in the comments down below. I guess, whatever, right? But this is another little bizarre storm nature of what I'm clearly looking at here. Yeah, almost fully down, and it took like what? Nearly a couple months to do so, after they suddenly had turned red. Now more so kind of brown, because as you know it by now, they are somewhat dead, so hard to see. Even with the first day of winter, they're still likely gonna be there. Much to disappointments, which is probably somewhat the reason why around the spring, around May, and it may not be until like, I don't know, like June or something when they fully get there. Well, most of them will be done like around May, late May or whatever. Just, yeah, but definitely off of a lot of roofs I see. Yeah. Not much of it clearly left at all. Seriously now. But the storm's got to certainly do a lot of work one way or another. Look, even more snow. Look, wowzers, yay. But look, a dog too. So, if any of you guys, of course, are new to the channel, or if had your accounts fall, make sure to like and subscribe if you guys want. I'm going to be basically soon doing the Pro Days opening, coming 4 days from now when it's Christmas Day too, of course, guys, speaking. And I must say, honestly, with the weather that's kind of outside right now, will certainly, yeah, so right now we are dealing with, what is it? Right now, it is literally a positive 5 degrees out, for real, but feels literally like 1 or 0 degrees, which, of course, explains the exact reason why I'm wearing my winter jacket here, just to be on the safe side in the road for this video. I'm having my Christmas dinner soon at 2:30 p.m. and right now it's only 2:04. So that's why I also can't make this video for too long either. And I know we're pretty much 7.5 minutes into the video already, so I might as well show you some other basic stuff quickly. Look at that. Yep. We're looking further and further along the road. Might as well make another worthy of the trip here. A lot of haystacks colors. So more so yellowish, whitish, brownish color. But I feel like it mixes anywhere between yellow, white, and brown, with only a partial chance of green. And I think part of that green is also the moss as well, but also that brown over there, the darker brown, is more so no thanks to the idea of dirt. And I see a little bit more of a green, somewhat plant over there. But yeah, you do still see some of those good looking dark green grass and whatever not too, guys. That still exists for parts of December, but more will probably be washed away unless there is one thing that you guys basically managed to do, and that is named winterize your grass, like your lawn. I don't know, like sometimes people put the plants in their little tent things to keep the plants all their moisture and everything from going dry because of the cold air. Other reasonable times, I gotta say too, parts of which also has something to do with, yeah, other reasons. And the grass, yeah, people sometimes winterize their lawn and make it so their grass stays dark green even through the winter times. Say when all this heavy amounts of snow piles up like so. This is just a little tiny snowbank that's left, by the way. That may eventually get melted as it rains pretty soon. Like, it's actually starting to rain for me right now, guys, so I'm about to end this video in like the next minute or two, so it doesn't matter anyways. So I might as well quickly go ahead, completely ignore the whole cracks that's in the way, because that'd be a huge problem for drivers in a car, but not for walkers like me, yo. So the somewhat light rain is slowly turning into heavy rain, I see. Just like, wowzers. But yes, I gotta say, it's not too bad outside right now. Mostly a little warm, but still chilly yet at the same time, because I do feel my pinky and fourth finger next to that freeze it up a little bit more. But yep, the amount of work that snow did, it tumbled a lot of them down. Also, the things that you see that were one screen before too. Ha! What a major surprise. Also, yes, not green anymore, but also a haystack, yellowish white. All the other bits are like a bit dark brown, partly from moss, or like a little stem part of it I see. Yep, some cotton little grayish flower looks, but a lot of the beds of it plumped down for the winter. And guaranteed, this just means by, of course, next, what is it, like spring, it will all, well, not replenish back up, like, they won't come flying back up because they're dead now. But new ones will get reborn, or that's usually how that works too, guys, somewhat anyways. And I got 51% battery life off of my tablet right now, so yeah. Honestly, guys, I just don't know if there's anything more to say throughout this video. I guess, as usual, if there's anything I did manage to forget, I'll let you guys know in the comments down below. And there's the second pile of the dead looking ones. They're even more so deceased. They're even more further down than the other ones over there. Like, at least there's a lot more still going. There's only a few that are actually somewhat left. Of course, supposedly to no surprise, a lot of just branches are still yet left and through. I'm not even going to bother going further down because that will be straight down the ditch. That would suck for sure. Yeah, we got pipeline leading to the sewer. Oh, a lot of sticks and everything have been piled up here over some time. Wonder if part of that had been from the storm or something. Well, anyways, I gotta say this is it for now, of course, guys. I don't know, I think my camera's acting a little blurry here or whatever. So that takes care of it for now. I don't know if I'll have another video uploaded, as in, you know it, post it before, a few days before Christmas. But you guys will know for sure based off of if I post it on my timeline schedule or whatever not. So yeah, after all that snow completely goes away, we're back to just experiencing mostly some grass, some pine trees, or pine cones, yeah, that's what they are, and a load amount of leaves because, of course, we never fully get rid of our leaves, especially towards, winter time, like fall into winter time and then spring, because naturally the grass will eventually rise up again and it will grow tall and the mowing will come in and most of the leaves will be chopped up and some will decompose over the springtime too. So that's that as well. So I also see, yep, to no surprise, I gotta say, from like what we've witnessed like just 3 days ago to last week, more precisely, guys, I do have to say, yeah, that whole pile was very tall. It made it like near halfway to that trunk there, and this was like also steep in a pile. So when we had a lot of that snow on our driveway, yep, crazy enough, we had to one way or another shovel up and pile it to one way so we can get cars and stuff to go along or come in. That typical annoying snow shoveling stuff. Hate having to deal with that every winter, but that's what you get for living in Canada. I mean, when like late 2022 to early 2023 happened, like that was roughly 3 years ago. Well, yes, of course, guys. I say we weren't dealing with too much precisely of, well, snow. I mean, we did get a little bit of snow on Christmas. It was just as of 2 years ago in 2023's Christmas, it was exactly like this, a green Christmas, which I'm just honestly hoping, like, I'm wishing for a white Christmas, like, not a green Christmas. 4 days from now, there better be more snow that comes. Otherwise, I guess we'll just deal with this little tiny pile of snow for our first day of winter and Christmas Day. Yeah, because, like, even in, like, into January and February, there was still only a little bit of snow that came. And it wasn't your usual 1 to 2 feet of snow like it's supposed to happen every year because, well, Canada, on the north side, well, we need it for, like, the Arctic of the Polar and whatever not. Polar Express, yeah, totally. And then right here, as we're also coming into my part of the backyard, as you also see, to no surprise, little bits of, yeah. Yeah, oh, wowzers. Moss, dirt, piles of leaves again. A little bit of that grass has been covering up. I don't know, that's probably the soil. I don't even know how that got on. I guess some of it must have dumped out by accident as we were approaching to this little flower garden bed, most of which is dead. Yeah, just piles of twigs of sticks or whatever. Or stems, stems. Little pot. I don't know what was meant to be in that. I forget what most of them are. Assuming that this is broccoli here, that I feel like surprisingly naturally survives throughout the whole winter. Yeah, that's pretty brilliant if you ask me here. Seriously, guys. Yeah. So a lot of haystacks. A little bit of some greenish look to it. Then also more dark green spots. Nice. Real incredible. Like all the way here to like there. La la. Is it this like truly something or what, guys? All similar to like last year, etc. Yeah, like as of every year, no joke for us, precisely, we do manage to like not rake up our leaves every year. This is every year for us. We're not gonna pile up the leaves. We're not gonna rake them, and like we could do that and put them in the compost and stuff like that. But I feel like partly in a way we kind of need some of the leaves on the ground to help with like the nature stuff or whatever. I'm not entirely too sure, but yeah, that's just that. Plus, we also besides have a big, well, kind of medium size. I wouldn't say too small, but I wouldn't say too big either. But yeah, we do somewhat got a little bit of a huge lawn, and it's enough that the leaves can't entirely get everywhere. Like they can fly all across from like there, or wherever it wants to flow towards. But yes, anyways, see, there's one right there. Little piles of ice. And then further coming this way and towards the hospital way, just, yep, snow and another part of the ridiculous snow banks. You think that's all-time crazy? Look at there. Look entirely right here. Yes, boy, yeah, I believe it's starting to blur out a bit as more of that rain is slightly increasing. Well, it's coming and going. Like, it's only partially rainy for like a few minutes and then stops and then comes back and then, yeah. So, might be all gone for now, but be prepared for more of it to most likely certainly come back afterwards. Well, anyways, didn't I say this to myself that this was going to take precisely long? Yeah, and I did say to you guys too. So anyways, now this wraps it up for real. Anyways, take care, guys, for real. And so, yeah, I'm going now. Anyways, Christian sign up. Bye-bye, guys. And so, yeah.